Welcome to Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor, the Raw podcast, all about the messy, true lives of working moms in real estate. In this podcast, we talk about the hilarious mishaps and successes that are pretty much guaranteed when it comes to selling real estate while managing a family. I'm your host, Nicole Ward, the boots on the ground toddler mom who swears like a sailor and fails extravagantly, all while running my own real estate business. So grab a juice box and that basket of clean laundry that still needs folded because we're going to jump right in. Welcome back to Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor. I'm Nicole Ward, your host, and today I have Kate Oesch with us today. Hi, Kate.
You got it. Hi. Thanks for having me.
I said it right, Kate Oesch, but it's spelled like, I was trying to say it like Oesch, and it's Ash. That's an amazing way to spell that.
Yeah. So my story with my last name is I married it and divorced it and kept it. So it's not even really mine. I'm still just borrowing it.
Okay. I mean, hey, why not? If it works for you. If it's recognizable for you, it's really hard to change your name when you are a business owner and people know you by your name. So that's tough.
It is.
So tell me a little bit about like when you got your license and where you were in life when you got your license.
Okay. When I got my real estate license, it was 2002 and I was pregnant with my first son. And I had not gone to college. And I really thought it was do or die with being pregnant and having a baby and feeling like I needed something to do at some point in the future. And I really kind of felt like it was now or never. So I really wanted, if not a degree, a certificate, a license. And so real estate was it. Yeah. Okay. So I felt somewhat accomplished. I was pretty young. I was 23.
Was there any like light bulb moment where you're like, oh, I'm going to get my real estate license because, or how did it come to the point where you were pregnant and you're like, I need to do something professional and you got your real estate license?
A broker locally, neighbor of mine, lived down the street. Her name's Mary. And Mary would hit me up every few months and say, I think you should get your real estate license. And I was like, nah. So no, I really think you should get your real estate license. And she was just totally recruiting. And I was so naive. But it really did kind of sink to like, well, yeah, I guess maybe I could do that. I like design and I like homes and I like people. So yeah, why not? I'll get my real estate license. Yeah. The barrier to entry is so low and easy. It was like, okay, I can do that.
Easy to do, easy to get. And I'm sure at the time, and that's what my question was going to be, is did you feel like it was going to be totally HGTV when you got your license?
Now, remember, this was 2002. Like, pretty much pre-HGTV. It almost didn't even exist yet. Maybe a little bit of like Nate Berkus on Oprah or something like that. But no, it was just
that's interesting and funny. I mean,
affordable. Think about it. It was a long time ago. It was 21 years ago.
No, that's true. It was. What was the show with Tim Allen? I wasn't on HGTV. He was like a Mr. Fix-It. And didn't he do a show where like
Home Improvement?
Yeah, Home Improvement with Tim the Tool Man. I'm not saying you're old. I promise you I'm not saying you're old. I'm just saying that was the show.
I'm kind of old for all that. Yeah, like my career has come along with social media. The internet was... And the MLS online was very new when I got my license.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were pregnant with your first when you got your real estate license. So that first year, I'm thinking only because I've got two little ones that are 1 and 2. That first year must have been incredibly difficult. Tell me about how that was having a baby and starting your real estate business.
So it wasn't, because my mindset was not that I was starting a real estate business.
Okay.
I was going to go sell some houses. I did not need to support my family with income. So I was fortunate in that regard. My goal my first year was to make enough money to pay for our family to go on vacation. My husband at the time did not like to pay for vacations. And I was accustomed to going on vacation every winter.
Gotcha.
And I thought, okay, that's fine. I'll just make enough money. So I'll pay for that part and it'll be great. And that's exactly what I did for about the first 8 years of my career.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
part-time. I raised my boys at home. I sold houses on the side. It was very much a part-time realtor.
So tell me a little bit, because now I'm curious. You said you raised your boys. So last I remembered, you were pregnant, but I didn't even ask you about, your partner or spouse. So throughout this whole time, tell me about your husband and your family dynamic through those first 8 years.
We were just a little all American family. He
Right.
worked a normal 9 to 5 job, and I stayed home with the kids. I had 3 sons in 4.5 years,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
was just doing the stay at home. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I did.
Uh, I
Yeah,
can't
for about the
imagine.
first 8 to 10 years, it was amazing.
I mean, that sounds amazing. I think that it would be, that's the hardest job on the planet. You cannot convince me that there is a more difficult job than being a stay at home mom, period. There just isn't a more difficult job than that. But what I will say is, I have a daughter who's 2 and I have a son who's 1. So I know how it feels to have, kids that are close in age. But my son, like, I couldn't imagine having more than one of him. Like,
Yeah,
he
that they were
is
a lot.
a tornado. I mean, I
Uh-huh.
call him the Tasmanian devil, and he even runs around the house going da 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 da, and I'm like, you're such a Taz.
Uh,
I
Yeah, there
mean,
was
oh
at
my
one point
gosh,
I remember looking at the boys and saying, like, do you guys have a meeting at night or in the morning and decide who's going to break what today? Like, you just
right?
take turns destroying everything we own. Yeah, that was a time and space that was fun. And
Oh,
I sold enough homes to literally pay for our vacations. I made
okay.
$10,000 a year, $15,000 a year. That was it. I was completely satisfied.
Okay. I mean, that's what, 2 or 3 deals a year. And
Yeah.
that's ultimately, after you pay obviously for your realtor fees and, your splits and all of that stuff, at the end of the day, that money paid for your vacation. That's amazing. So, what was your favorite vacation out of those 8 years that you were able to provide for your family?
Well, we went to the Florida Keys, and I took my dad with us. And we stayed at
Oh,
an amazing resort in Duck Key. Yeah, it was pretty memorable. We had some good ones.
oh, that's amazing. Okay, so obviously there was a shift because I'm pretty sure you sell quite a bit of real estate now. And I believe I might be wrong in saying this, but are you a team leader as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so what happened between selling a few houses a year to now you're a team leader? How did that happen?
Well, I decided to leave my husband. We got a divorce,
Okay,
and I made $20,000 the last year that we were together,
okay,
and he was sort of like, "Well, if you want out, you can leave." And so I said,
okay.
"Okay, I'm not sure if you realize what I do for a living, but it's bricks and sticks, babe. I'll buy more. You keep these."
Right, right,
And I made a game plan and moved out. And I moved actually down the street. So our kids were still close and they didn't feel abandoned, because that was torturesome for me I
right,
didn't want them to feel that way.
right,
And, but I had to do this for myself. And not to go too deep into all of that, but it was just, I felt very unaccomplished. Being a stay at home mom is the hardest job. It is much easier to go to work, but
right.
it's also, there's not that you need awards or acknowledgement. There's just, it's not, I didn't feel like I was accomplishing enough with my life. It should be enough. It didn't feel that way to me. I needed to do something more, some kind of achievement. I don't even know what I was looking for, but I needed something.
Well, it's fulfilling to watch your kids grow, but it's very, very slow. You don't really know how your little humans are going to turn out until they're not little humans anymore. And
True.
so, as we're human beings, you'll have to forgive me, I have a psych degree, but as, you know, human beings, we need affection. And affection can be in the form of praise for doing a good job or something like that. Like, we are human beings. That's how we operate. That's how we mentally function. And that sounds like a very difficult time in your life. You were a mom, you had kids, you didn't have the support that people get used to when they are in relationships. So
Mhm.
that must have been really, really, really hard. So
It
you
was.
you
So
separated. What happened?
separated, I met with my attorney, and she said, "So I see what you're paying in rent over here and your expenses. and I see that you made $20,000 last year. And she went back for the 3 years. I think I made 20,000 and then like 12,000 and then 8. Like,
Okay.
not a lot of money for a 3-year history.
Right.
And she said, you don't make enough money to actually even just to pay your bills. So I think you should, ask for more child support or alimony or something. And I said, I don't want to. We've both agreed to split. We're going to do this 50-50. And when I have the kids, he pays, I pay for them. And when he has the kids, he pays for them. I don't want any money from him monthly. I don't want a penny because I really felt like that would be holding something over my head.
Sure.
I wanted to do it on my own accord. And so she said, what's your plan? And I said, I'll just sell more houses. That's what I'm going to do. And I made it a mental goal of mine to make more money than my soon-to-be ex-husband in the next year or two.
I was waiting for you to say that. I'm not going to lie. I'm sitting here going, this chick, I bet you she made more money than her ex. I bet you.
Yep. I was like, just give him that's my goal. I'm going to make as much or more than you do. And it was almost a you can't do it sort of a scenario. And I said, watch me. So
love it. Yeah, I love it.
I actually could really thank him for that because it was a huge driving force in failure is not an option. That was my mantra.
I bet. Okay. So if you did it on your own and clearly you did it on your own. Mm-hmm. Just a kind of emotional question here because I'm curious, but did your relationship with your ex for parenting purposes stay kosher because you did not accept the child support or alimony because you did it on your own and you amicably split? Did you have a decent working parenting relationship with him moving forward?
You could call it decent.
Decent? I mean, I'm sure there was difficult times. There always is when it comes to a split, but I'm just curious because, I've seen some really bad stories about just parenting gone wrong where the kids end up really messed up. So I'm just curious how that played out for you.
No, I think they came out all right. So fast forward today, our oldest son is 20 and his brother's 18 and his youngest brother is 15. And I got into a new relationship several years ago and added a daughter who's 2 years old to the mix.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to motherhood again.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's been great. And no one really saw that one coming, including myself at that point in my career. But it's been really great this time around. I was kind of rushing through the kids when they were younger. Mm-hmm. Just when you have multiple, you're just kind of waiting for the next phase. Like, okay, now you're potty trained, or now I can't wait for you to go to kindergarten all day. And now I can't wait for you to get your driver's license. And if there's moms with young kids and you're thinking that that's the next, you're always to that next thing, what's coming next. Like you're almost just looking forward to it because it's somehow selfishly, it's going to ease your burden just a little bit. Right. Try and live in the now. I rushed through my kids my boys. I really did, getting to the next phase. And there are many times that I reflect back that I failed to really live in the moment.
That's really hard. It's funny because the number one bit of advice that I get, I give myself grace to say that it's okay if I don't want to be around my kids right now. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to need a break. It's okay to need these things. But the number one bit of advice I get from other moms is enjoy the moment because it won't last, or try to enjoy the moments because it won't last. But the funny part is I don't need people to remind me that. I don't wish that those times would move faster. I don't wish that we would get to the next phase. Yes, sometimes I wish I could get a break, but I don't wish to get to the next phase. And that's what everyone says to me. And so I feel like
I don't think that you're normal with that. Most people are not that way.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is that what you're saying now, that those feelings of, I would say almost regret, the feelings that you're talking about. Those are the probably extremely common, the most common mom feeling of guilt that any mom can have is like, I wish I would have done this more back then. I hear that so often. So you aren't alone is what I'm trying to say when I'm getting to.
I know there's a lot of other girls feeling that way too. You rush through things to get to the next phase and then you kind of missed, what that phase was. So with my daughter, I've been able to really, I'm an older mom. I'm 43 years old and that's different. It really is different. I have a lot more patience this time, and I do have that reflection to be able to look back and say, yeah, we're really going to enjoy this moment or this day or this phase.
That's amazing. And how lucky your daughter is to have 3 older brothers that can probably whoop some ass if needed, right?
She's going to have like 4 dads is pretty much how that's going to go. But yeah, it's pretty adorable. They were not happy. They were not happy when I told them that I was pregnant. So that was also
really?
Oh yeah. They were mad.
Were they really? They cared that much? Why? Was it that you were starting over? Was it the impact it was going to be on their life, or what was the deal?
Well, I think each one of them was affected a little bit differently. My oldest son was more indifferent, kind of almost one foot out the door as a senior in high school anyway, like whatever, mom, do whatever you're going to do. But he was just kind of disenfranchised with the whole thought.
Right.
I also think that at his age, if you put yourself in an 18-year-old boy's shoes for a moment, your mom being pregnant is disgusting.
Right.
It just is.
I get
a teenage boy, because you know how that happens, and they know now how that happens, and that's just gross. They don't want to think about that with their mom. So
it's funny.
Yeah. So there was that, and then Donnie was just more shocked, literal, just a blank stare, shock.
Right.
And the baby Derek was very reactionary of a baby. The youngest of the family, to be super emotional about not being the baby anymore, I think is how that translated out. But the funny part is it's funny now. It wasn't funny the night that I sat them at the table and told them, but he cried. 2 out of 3 cried. And the youngest one was so upset that he ran upstairs sobbing. And
please tell me you recorded it.
I let him do that for a little while, and then I went upstairs, and he was doing like the toddler, like that. He was so upset. And I said, Derek, it's really going to be okay. This is not that bad. And there's 2 things that he said that are super memorable. He said, Mom, are you going to keep it? Derek.
I know. I mean, please tell me you had a hard time not laughing.
Yes, like exactly. I was floored. And then he said, but you're so old.
Oh my gosh. Boys. Oh my gosh. Well, it sounds like she's 2 now. So does she have all of them wrapped around her little finger?
100%. 100%.
I love it.
What's my sister doing today? What's my sister this? Donnie takes her to Walmart to look at toys. Like it's all good, but that was a really, really hard time.
Oh, I bet. I have an 18-year-old, I call him my bonus son because I don't like the word step, but I married he was 9 when I married my husband. And so I've been a part of his life, half of his life now. He's 18. He's getting ready to graduate from high school this year. And, he did not have the reaction that your boys had when we told him that we were pregnant. But I'm sure he thought it was probably gross and, other things too. But he's said 2 things that I just cannot forget. The first thing is he doesn't ever want to have kids. So us having 2 little ones was great birth control for our 18-year-old.
I second that. That.
Yep, great birth control. And then the next thing, is that he absolutely adores his little sister. Like, they are tight when he is around. He loves hanging out with her. She says the cutest things to him and him to her. And it's adorable to see the 18-year-old versus 2-year-old little girl. It's cute. I like it.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty special.
So you are, at the point in your career where you've gotten through, you have a 2-year-old, but you've raised kids, you've got a family going on, you've been through some difficult times. Now you're a team leader. Now you're, doing big real estate things in your life. What is something that you've learned over the past since 2002? So what, 21 years? What's something you've learned over the past 21 years that you feel like would be one bit of great advice you could share with newbie realtor moms that are just getting into the industry?
My advice is to really double down on your tribe and be your authentic self. trying to be something to everybody is that's I think the grave disappointment that you feel when you don't have that connection. You're just trying to literally just be someone in every different moment. So I wish I would have embraced my authentic self sooner and realized that 50% of the people in your world are not going to like you. They're not going to like what you say or what you do or what you wear, or what your opinion is or how you answer the phone. They're not going to like the way that you do things. And that's okay. Those are not your people. Let them go. Bring in the people that truly that you connect with, and that makes your job so easy because you're on the same page already. And
I totally agree.
I'm a cut to the chase kind of a girl. I struggle with stereotypes that want numbers and graphs and charts. And so I can give that kind of stuff, but really the experience, if that's what they're looking for, there might actually be another fit for them that's better than me. Mm-hmm. And then conversely, there's other people that, I might show up to your appointment on your 10-acre farm in my boots and stocking hat. And if you expected some other sort of professional look, I'm just not your girl, because that's who I am.
Right.
Yeah. So
I love it. And tacking on to what you're saying, because I do have people, we're in the real estate industry, and I'm going to be 100% honest when I say this, is there is a war between brokerages or brokers. And it annoys me, but B, I don't care. And I tell all of my agents this, and people that I know in the industry this, I said, it does not matter the name, the broker that you hang above your name. It's your tribe that matters. You need to find the people that you fit in with, that you work well with, that you want to emanate, you want to be like them, and they want to be like you, and you enjoy surrounding. You're a better person. You grow a better business when you're around them. That's what matters. And I love that you said that. It means so much. And it's so true.
There's some local brokerages in my neck of the woods that I'll describe them as hoity-toity. And I'm just never going to fit in with that, because those are not my people. I'm probably too brash for them as well. So that's fine. You guys do your thing over there, and I'm going to be down here in Columbiana County. So
it's your people. It's the people that count. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you can convey that on social media now with your content, whether they like you or not, it will gain traction and gain followers, that people really know who you are, and don't try and be someone that you're not. Just don't.
Have you ever read Outrageous Authenticity by Lee Brown?
No.
It's a great book. So Lee Brown is a broker. She owns her own brokerage out of, somewhere on the East Coast. And she actually ran.
She got real short hair. She's thin. I've seen her speak.
Yep. She teaches at she comes to the OAR conventions. She teaches at NAR conventions. She's fantastic. And she runs for politics and office as well. But she has a book. It's a real 2-hour listen on Audible, and it's called Outrageous Authenticity. And it's a fantastic book. So anybody listening to the show right now, or for your purposes, definitely listen to it, because it's a great book.
Try it. Okay. That's a good recommendation.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 things left. First of all, if anybody listening to the show wants to reach out to you or connect with you, Kate Oesch, not Oesch, Ash, guys, Kate Oesch, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, you could just type my name into Google, and my phone number will appear pretty much everywhere. You can also find me on Facebook. We run the team under the brand The Creative Ones. So you can find us on that. Yeah, as well. That's been a new adventure for us with the new rebranding of our team last year. The goal with that was to attract agents under an umbrella to allow them to truly uniquely be themselves.
I love it.
I really felt like I was probably never going to attract amazing talent if they were always going to be shadowed by Team Kate.
Right. I totally agree with that.
Someone else. They want to be themselves, and they are themselves, and they are uniquely their own brand within the support of our brand, The Creative Ones. So that's
100%. I got a few brokerages ago, because I've bounced a couple of times till I landed where I was. But one of the brokerages that I was at before I was a part of a team, and this was when I was a newer agent, and so I had joined a team, but the team name wasn't the name of the team leader. Like it was just a generic name, kind of like yours, like the creatives, it was like, I forget it, but it wasn't her name, the team leader's name. And they told us that we had to change it to be the team leader's name because they didn't want me to be on her team. They wanted me to be on my own and not on her team. And they were being a little bit snarky about it. So they forced the team lead to change the name of the team. And I thought that was like crazy. I know, right? Crazy. Small brokerage, no big deal brokerage, but I thought that was an interesting one. Anyways, so people know how to get a hold of you. And at this point, there's only one question left. And every listener that we have on the show waits till the end of the episode to get to this point. But I got to ask you, the show is called Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor. So what's your confession?
Boy, we talked about this one earlier. So I honestly, I don't even know what to say.
You did kind of say already about, you kind of gave your confession a little bit, with your situation and all of that. And your bit of advice was actually really good too. But tell us something juicy. Tell us something you may have never said out loud before. Come on. Lay it out there. Lay it out there.
Gosh, I don't know. I just, I think that trying to juggle, I'll tie this back to the kids. I know I heard one of your podcasts about moms taking their kids on appointments with them. And they have no idea what it takes until they see it. But when you raise a family with real estate, they're in the car with you all of the time, and they're listening to your conversations, and they're tagging along, and they're literally picking that all up. And I lie to my kids about what I make. They ask me how much I made on a house or what that sold for. and I lie about the money to them all the time. I always underestimate what I make. And I will tell them that I don't have money for something that they want to go do or buy. And I will tie that back to I didn't sell enough houses this month. So I can't afford it right now.
I mean, that's great. I think that's fantastic. But how else are they going to, if they feel like you are just made of money and you're a money tree, they won't appreciate the things that you do give them. They won't appreciate how much work it takes to earn. I think that's a great confession, by the way, but I also think that that's the right thing to do. And I probably would do the same thing with my little ones when they're older. So yeah. I think it's a good idea. Anyways, well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I am so excited that everyone got a chance to meet you and get to know you. Great conversation. And you guys stay tuned for next week's episode. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you, Kate. Appreciate it.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, mamas. Thanks for tuning in to Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor. If you liked today's confession, make sure you subscribe to hear more juicy stories from other realtor moms like you. See you next week.